Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 25th, and it's time for our children's Bible story and activity. And I'm in John chapter 3, and this is the story of Jesus talking to a Pharisee. This Pharisee's name was Nicodemus. Nicodemus came to Jesus under the cover of darkness because he had some tough questions he wanted to ask Jesus, but he didn't want to get judged by the other Pharisees. So he came at night and questioned Jesus, and the answers that Jesus gave left Nicodemus in a whole new understanding of what it means to trust God, to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. So Nicodemus came and was asking Jesus, what does this all mean? I don't understand everything that you're saying. And Jesus said, when you come to believe in me, it's a new life. You're changed. You're born again. It's like starting all over. And Nicodemus was like, well, wait a minute. I've already been born and I'm an old man. How can I be born again? And Jesus was like, this is what I'm saying. You change. Not that you start over as an infant, but you start over in your relationship with Jesus Christ. All of a sudden, you aren't the same Nicodemus as you were before. You've been changed. You're a new creation. Nicodemus continued to question Jesus. And Jesus then said in John chapter 3, verses 16 and 17, "For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, so that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." And then he goes on into verse 17, "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn it, but to save the world through him." Wow, this is so incredible. John 3:16 is one of the most well-known scriptures in the Bible. People quote it all the time. But do they really understand what that means? Do you really understand what this means when Jesus says he came here to save us? That was the reason why Jesus came to this earth. Not to just be born in a manger so that we get this wonderful story of Jesus being born in a manger and the wise men coming and the shepherds coming. He came so that he could die for us. And Jesus is right here telling Nicodemus the same thing as he's been telling his disciples. He came to love and to say, you know what? I forgive you. You are changed if you will believe in me. If you will be willing to give your life for me, you are different. You are not the same you as you were before. What that means is a lot of us have a head knowledge. Oh yeah, I know Jesus. He's God's son. Or I know God. But do you know God with your heart? So let me explain what that means. So there's people at school. They may not be your friends, but you know them. Somebody says, oh, hey, do you know so-and-so? Oh, sure, I know them. I've heard about them. Oh yeah, they're in my class. But you don't know anything about them. You don't know anything about their family. You've never been to their house. You know nothing really about them. You know their name. You know they're in your class, but you don't know them. Now, if I say, do you know your mom and dad? Oh, yeah, my mom, she's this and she's that. Oh, my dad, this and that. You know them. And my mom, she makes the best chicken noodle soup and she sings to me at night. And you know things about your mom. And you have a love relationship with your mom. And you have a love relationship with your dad. But you don't have that relationship with that person in your class, and all you do is know their name. You know them by name, but you don't know them here. So are you the same with Jesus Christ? Oh yeah, I know Jesus. Or do you know Jesus in your heart? And that's what Jesus is talking about in John chapter 3. Having this relationship with our heart for Jesus Christ. And once we do, our lives are different. So this made me think about during Easter, we decorate our sanctuary with butterflies. So I wanted to show you how to make a coffee filter butterfly. And so I have great big coffee filters today. You don't have to have these great big ones, just a normal size coffee filter that mom and dad, if they drink coffee, they may have this. And then you're going to need some markers, like crayola markers, and a spray bottle of water. And then a little bit later, you're going to need some pipe cleaners. And it doesn't matter what color. If you don't have pipe cleaners, you can use yarn. Okay, so get those supplies out and I will show you how to make a butterfly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some Crayola markers and I'm going to take my coffee filter, and you can do different things. You can just do dots, like stab your coffee filter with little dots of the Crayola markers, all kinds of colors, as many colors as you want. I got a purple here, that'll look really cool. And maybe you want to do some streaks, like some lines. So I'm going to get out my green here, and I'm going to do some lines. And it doesn't matter what it looks like now on the coffee filter. It doesn't have to look overly pretty or anything like that, because in just a little bit, it will change. Now, do you guys know we're butterflies? How we get butterflies? They start off as a worm. I know, ugh, worms, yuck. But they start off as worms. And then the worms, they start eating a lot. They fill their bellies, and then they attach themselves to a leaf and they make a cocoon. And after a little bit of time, they come out of their cocoon and they're no longer a worm. They're a beautiful butterfly. Okay, so I have taken my coffee filter and I've just colored it a little bit with markers. Now this is where my spray bottle comes in, and I have put a sheet of paper, or if you have newspaper, you're going to want to put that down and then put your coffee filter on top, and you're just going to take and spray a little bit of water. You don't need a whole ton, but just enough to get your coffee filter wet, and then the colors, they start to bleed a little bit. And I want you to think about that. If the colors bleed, I want you to think about what Jesus did for us. He bled for us on the cross. And because of his shed blood, we get the opportunity to be with him and to have true forgiveness from our sins. So once you get this wet, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set this somewhere to dry. Maybe on a carpeted floor or something, because your paper will be a little bit wet. You might want to take this off and lay it on another surface. It's okay to touch it, but you might want to lay it out somewhere and let it dry. When you get it dry, it'll take a couple hours to let it dry. And then when you're done, I'm going to take this one apart. It was one that was already made. This is a smaller coffee filter. So it dries, and you can see how the colors bled a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take and pinch the coffee filter together in the middle, and it kind of makes wings. Look at that. And then you're going to take a piece of either yarn or pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner works really, really good because it stands alone. It'll stand up. And then you take your pipe cleaner and you twist it, and then you get the little antenna for your butterfly, and then you can fluff out the wings. And then you can decorate your house with these, or if there's a person, an older person next to you or somebody that you know, this is something that you can, place on their doorstep and ring the doorbell. Make a little special note for them. Tell them you're thinking about them, and share Christ's love. So hope you have a great day. Have fun making these. They're a lot of fun, and I'll see you tomorrow.